Hey everyone, welcome back to another unboxing video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of figures. We're going to be looking at the Studio Series Transformers Age of Extinction Galvetron, and then as well as the Hammond Collection Dilophosaurus. I'm really excited to show you these figures. They're actually some pretty cool stuff, and yeah, let's go ahead and get on to it. So taking a look at the packaging, it's part of the new Hasbro packaging they're doing where it's just mostly a box. Not too big of a fan of it, but it still works pretty well. And looking at the figure itself, here you can see the background as well as the figure. And just giving you just a closer look at it. It's a pretty solid figure. I'm actually quite surprised at how they were able to kind of create this character without using a backpack. With that being said, there are some drawbacks. One of them being he's very blocky. As you can tell right here, like his chest is basically just one giant box. Which in fairness, one could criticize the actual design for that due to it being, so intricate. But taking a look at the weapons, to me, this is probably the weakest aspect of the figure. The weapons are just very weak. I'm not a big fan of how they look, but as you can see, he comes with this little hand cannon as well as the little rockets that he uses to shoot at the Autobots in the chase sequence. And looking at the articulation itself, it's about the standard articulation you expect from Transformers. A lot of really nice hinge and swivel joints. No real major ball joints. But whatever you, except for maybe the head, but whatever you do get, it works pretty fine. You're able to get into some pretty decent poses. Although the feet don't have very good, in my opinion, up and down, or not up and down, kind of swiveling movement, or what have you. Like I don't know, something about the feet. I had trouble kind of positioning in a way where it could lay flat in any other position than a standing up one. But with that being said, you can still get him some pretty solid poses. And yeah, I mean, just like I said, just pretty solid but standard articulation. And to show you how the weapons sort of peg on, it's pretty simple. Like I said, just you just peg on the missiles onto any arm, and the weapon can go, I believe, can go on. Well, I think it can actually only go on the right hand. As you can see right there, it's kind of curved in a way to where it can only go on a certain hand. But it's still, like I said, it doesn't look very good in my honest opinion. I think the Voyager on the original figure looked better. Which, by the way, I tried to find for a comparison, but couldn't. I guess I gave it away and didn't realize. But yeah, either way, it's kind of a weak looking weapon. But it's still, I think it's fine for what it is. I just wish they could have done it better. Because it looked kind of cool in the movie. But regardless, yeah, that's about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some closer looks. So just like most Studio Series Transformers, the painting, while sort of lacking, is there, and it does represent the character well. But the sculpting, especially just like the recent figures, it's really well done. There's a lot of really good detail. Almost everything that you would see from the CGI model is on here. I even like the way the horns are curved up. It's much more accurate than how the Voyager was. And again, just overall, it's a pretty solid figure. I will say, though, that it does have the arm blades like the character should have. Like if you remember that one scene where he cuts the car in half. But it's not very well sculpted. It's just kind of, it's not well done. It's basically those thin pieces of plastic you see behind his arms. But yeah, no, I mean, either way, it's still a really well sculpt, like really, really good sculpting and detail. I mean, it's really solid and accurate. But, one thing I did want to mention was I remember back in the day when, this movie was first announced and it was kind of popular to kind of speculate. There was a concept art that was leaked that showed what we thought Galvatron would have looked like, which he had the Dark of the Moon head, but with like a cool, awesome sword. And I remember thinking that was going to be so awesome until I saw what he actually looked like. Slightly disappointed, but I eventually grew on the design. And here we have size comparisons for Deluxe Class Lockdown and Shadow Raider. Really cool to see these characters together, even though they never sadly met on screen. Here's Deluxe Class Stinger, the KSI drone, as well as Nitro Zeus from The Last Night. And finally, we have almost all the iterations of Megatron from Transformers 1 all the way to Age of Extinction. And I can't wait for them to do The Last Night Megatron to complete this set. So that about does it for Age of Extinction Galvatron. Overall, a really solid figure, but let's go ahead and move on to the Dilophosaurus. So not too much to say for this box. It's about the same as any other Hammond collection, but it does have nice product images as well as an image from the film itself. And looking at the figure, it's really solid. I know some people had some issues like with the slit pupil and just other painting things here and there. Personally, as not being too like well knowledgeable on I'm not so knowledgeable that I know every single detail from the designs of each animal from Jurassic Park. It doesn't bother me that much, but I can understand from a fan point of view it can be a little frustrating. With that being said, it's still a well done figure in my opinion. And starting off with the articulation, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of a broken record at this point. It's basically just like a bunch of hinge joints. In fact, the only real ball joint is in the tail. With that being said, the hinge swivel joints and the one ball joint that is there, they work really well. It allows you to make some decent dynamic poses for the dinosaurs that you can kind of put in something menacing or kind of like curious or what have you, or just like in a running pose. The arms, again, there's an elbow joint, but there's no wrist joint, and I feel like those little details would be really nice, but I understand for a small figure it might be hard to implement. The bendy wire tail works really well, and yeah, just overall articulation, I'd say it's pretty solid. Not much else to say other than that. One thing I did want to show you were the frills, and as you can see, it comes with two, just like the Hammond collection or the Amber collection. They're both detachable, but unlike the unlike the Amber collection, this one it's there's no gap in the neck joint. It's just two separate pieces, and the detailing is really solid on the frill piece itself. But even the folded up version looks really nice. Now, because the flared out frill is kind of a little loose on the neck, what I like to do is I like to put this folded one kind of underneath. Like I like to put it on first, and then I put on the flared out frill just to kind of give it that stability. And I don't know how because it's all rubber plastic, so I don't know how it's gonna hold up over time. But as of now, it works fine as it is. I do like how it looks, although the folded up frill looks a little too thick on the neck. It makes the Dilophosaurus neck look a little thicker than it should. But I think overall it works pretty well, and I think it makes generally a really nice look to the figure. I mean, it looks just like the Dilophosaurus, or at least almost identical to the Dilophosaurus from the first Jurassic Park movie, which is really cool to see. We haven't seen this creature in a while. We only just got it back for Jurassic World Dominion, and so I like this. Taking a closer look at the detail again, you can just see how. Just like all the other Hammond Collection figures, Mattel does a really good job with the sculpting, the scale texture, the wrinkles, the muscle definition, just everything looks really good. Again, I know some people have issues with proportions and whatnot, but I don't know. I mean, the figure feels fun to play with and it looks good. I never have an issue with that. And now we're going to take a quick look at some size comparisons. Here we have the Hammond Collection Velociraptor from the first Jurassic Park, the Gallimimus from Jurassic Park The Lost World, and the Baryonyx from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And that about does it for this video. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to sit down and watch it. If you're curious for pictures of these or any of my arts or anything like that, you can check out my Instagram page, Giovanni Arts and Collectibles. Like I said, I try to post pictures of all kind of my art, my sculptures, my own kind of homemade figures, as well as my own personal collection. And yeah, like I said, thank y'all for watching and have a great day. Bye.